I got my first trout on the JMT. This is amazing. This is the best. This is the best hike I've ever done in my life. Yesterday I wanted to quit. My feet hurt. My back hurts. Pretty sure that I've got sunburn on my ear and my neck. It's been rough. Hasn't been catastrophic, but it's been rough. Hopefully my trail legs come in sooner rather than later. We'll see. Woke up this morning at El Mano Motel and went to grab my gear just for one last check. A mouse ate a hole in my bag. It was a small hole. Easy repair. Double-sided. Enjoying the experience, you know? Little lessons learned give me opportunities to succeed. I'm pretty sure this is the first time in my life I've eaten breakfast with hummingbirds. It's pretty sweet. The Arts bus dropped me off just off the Route 120, and I was able to walk back just a little bit to get to Tuolumne Meadows Ranger Station to pick up my wilderness permit, starting day one. And to think this all started from reading The Trail by Ethan Gallagher. The rangers at Tuolumne Meadow Ranger Station were exceptional. They had my permit, they gave me my brief, they told me what I could and couldn't do, and had me out starting my day relatively quickly. Got me going for what I was anticipating to be an amazing adventure, but I was struggling with wanting to fish. How's it going? The trail started out deceivingly flat, even, and well established. It almost got to the point where this was too easy, which gave me a false perception while I was trying to hike. I already want to fish. Let's see. How's it going? Look how beautiful that is. John. I'm only 4.1 miles into the John Muir Trail and I can't resist trying to fish. So we're gonna try to do some fishing. Oh, there's horses. It's not super stable. Got one! Got my first one! I got it! I got my first one! I got my first one! I got it! I got my first one! I got my first trout! I got my first trout! Oh my goodness! I got my first! I got my first one! I got my first trout! I got my first trout of the JMT! I got my first trout on the JMT. This is amazing. This is the best hike I've ever done in my life. I did it. I got my first one. At this point on the trail, I have legitimately caught 52 fish, mostly those small puppies. Oh, I love this. I love it. First water crossing. Oh, foot sweat. I love it. All right. Oh, it's refreshingly cool how nice that water feels. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Just so beautiful out here. So beautiful. Is this the footbridge? Am I here?
Oh, that's beautiful. Plenty of water. Oh.
I'm not 100% sure why Garmin InReach had me going backwards, but you can tell by the look on my face that I was definitely contemplating whether or not I did or did not turn around, and there was some confusion, despite there shouldn't have been because I only walked in one direction.
Please don't fucking say that.
Honestly, I don't know what was happening with the InReach, but I did indeed not turn around.
How's it going?
Donahue Pass. 1 down, 11 to go. I got my first trout on the JMT. This is amazing. This is the best hike I've ever done in my life. Yesterday I wanted to quit. My feet hurt, my back hurts. Pretty sure that I've got sunburn on my ear and my neck. It's been rough. Hasn't been catastrophic, but it's been rough. Hopefully my trail legs come in sooner rather than later. We'll see. First night down. I'm sore, but I'm excited to keep moving. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Eat, tear down, go. This campsite at Lyle Waterhead is probably one of my favorite, especially in the early portion of the trail. I absolutely loved it. It was perfectly positioned. It was a little bit longer of a walk than I was anticipating day one. I went 10.9 miles, but it was an amazing view, as you can see.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, that's beautiful. I've got to fill up on water. See if we get any closer up here. That water sounds so refreshing. Look at all these purple flowers. They're pretty. This might be the best place to get some water. Yeah. Donahue Pass. 1 down, 11 to go. To this day, I'm still dumbfounded by how crystal clear and how cold all of the water was throughout the entire JMT. but specifically this beginning portion. With the Seanock and the Sawyer, I really liked going with the gravity feed system. You see that I don't squeeze it, but ultimately I just let it fill itself. I really liked going with electrolytes, whether it was Element, I used Peak Refuel, their blend, as well as using Waterboy. Waterboy was probably one of my favorite for flavors, but ultimately you can tell by my hat, and you can see yesterday or on day one how much sweat I have on the side of my face. I really needed to get those electrolytes and salt back in my body. During these water fill-ups, I'd really concentrate on getting snacks. Some of the snacks I'd use were Honey Stinger, whether that was their gels, their waffles, or their caffeinated gummies, or Scratch Lab. I used their gummies. I was also using different things like candy and other quick energy boosts, but mostly carbohydrates for my snacks.
Beautiful. How's it going?
Hi. How you doing?
Pretty good. Can't complain yet.
Doing JMT?
Yes. You guys?
Yeah.
Nice. Donahue Pass is right up there.
Yeah.
Eating lunch was probably one of the hardest things for me to do, especially day two, because I was legitimately force feeding myself. At this point, I wasn't really hungry, but I knew I needed the nutrition, so I'm forcing myself to eat. You can see that this was a longer day. This was a 13.3 mile day for day number 2. Coming from sea level to this elevation was definitely having an impact on me, specifically my appetite and my heavy breathing.
Next mile meals: chicken and broccoli casserole, 6 ounces of water.
this was the point where I could realize that my neck was getting burned, and I was flipping my hat around to keep the sun off the back of my neck for a little bit, just to try to ease some of that sensation. One thing I do here is I dump the water directly into the Ziploc bag, but I did not put the Ziploc bag into my foil pouch that I did keep in my bear can to help concentrate that heat and have that reflection. So some of my meals at the very beginning of the trail, when I just did the Ziploc bag, they did not fully absorb all of the water. And if they did, they were just a little bit more crunchy than any of my other ones once I started using the foil bags.
All right. Well, that cooks. Let's fish.
Yeah, I saw trout, didn't catch any. Not my day. So the switchback's up to Island Pass. First off, I didn't even know that Island Pass was a pass until I was already past it. But this kicked my rear end. Thousand Island Lake was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful, but it was jam-packed with people and no campsites. I was supposed to stay the night at Garnett Lake. There were no campsites. It was super windy. I went too far. I didn't eat dinner. This is going to lead to problems in day 3.
Yesterday I wanted to quit. My feet hurt, my back hurts. Pretty sure that I've got sunburn on my ear and my neck. It's been rough. Hasn't been catastrophic, but it's been rough. Hopefully my trail legs come in sooner rather than later. We'll see. Well, night 2 complete. Went a whole lot further than what I anticipated yesterday. I think yesterday turned into almost a 16-mile day. From Tuolumne Meadows to here, I think we're right around 26 miles, if my maps are mathing correctly. Not exactly sure how far I want to go today. Where I plan to stop is like maybe 6 miles from here, or I can push it up and I can probably do another 10-mile day or something. We'll see. Yesterday I wanted to quit. My feet hurt, my back hurts. Pretty sure that I've got sunburn on my ear and my neck. It's been rough. Hasn't been catastrophic, but it's been rough. Hopefully my trail legs come in sooner rather than later. We'll see.
Shadow Lake. Now that just makes me want to swim.
Shadow Lake is by far, still to this day, one of my favorite lakes on the entire JMT, just for the scenery around it. But these switchbacks were terrible. They killed me. I can't count how many times I had to stop it each time they turned.
This area is pretty nice. Just covered the footbridge after I just hiked up from Shadow Lake, went down, so I passed Glades Lake, just past the footbridge there. Now I'm just eating my gummies, going through this beautiful wilderness. Sure hope it stays something like this. I think I might have scared him. Oh, I'm just staring him now. I think I scared him all away. Gosh, some big trout down there.
Alright, I've made it to Reds, but let's be completely honest and transparent. I made it here extremely exhausted. I don't know whether it was just the altitude, I don't know whether it was the miles that I've put on up to day 3 with the altitude. I'm not exactly sure, but when I got here I was so physically exhausted that I walked into the market. I bought an orange creamsicle ice pop and a can of root beer, and I sat down at the benches outside, ate the popsicle, drank about half of the can of soda, and I immediately ran to the bathroom because my stomach just couldn't take it. I had to sit down and just chill out for about an hour. I ended up getting a cabin here because I honestly thought that I drank something, maybe my filter didn't work. That wasn't the case, but I really thought that I was sick, and I thought that I was going to end up getting off trail today. And this is only compiling off of yesterday where I wanted to quit. So I already had the quit in my mind from the day before, and now I'm unwell in the stomach area, and I'm debating whether or not I need to call it. But once I got the cabin, I was able to sit down on the couch for about an hour, just completely taking it all in.
Went down to the Mule House Cafe and picked up one of their double cheeseburgers, which was phenomenal. Ended up eating it nice and slow. Talked to two PCTers, Ghost and Snowy. Ended up meeting a guy named Terry, who was a huge Tenkara fan, and I talked to him about fishing nonstop. He said he was going to take a 0 day and just fish around Red's Meadow the following day. Went to sleep that night, woke up the next morning, and I felt 1.5 million times better. Maybe it was the real food, maybe it was just Red's Meadow. I don't know.
One day I'll know how to read a map. I guess even I do a food dance. Upper Crater Meadow. I think that's where we are. I think. Which means we have big water coming up. I think. One day I'll know how to read a map. Then we hit Deer Creek. Duck Lake really isn't that far. That is a beautiful fish.
Waking up at Deck Lake was probably the coldest morning to this point. My hands were numb while packing up my gear. They were even colder while I was getting my water for the day. Starting up the initial switchbacks out of Duck Lake, I met another hiker by the trail named Frog. We had sit down on the switchbacks and we were just chatting for a while as we leapfrogged the rest of the way to Purple Lake and Virginia Lake. Up to this point on the trail, nothing compared to Shadow Lake. It's still by far one of my favorite lakes. But before this day, between Lake Virginia and Purple Lake hands down had a better scenery and overall feeling to it. That's just my personal opinion, but I really did like Purple Lake more than Lake Virginia. If you look closely at this picture, you can see the 50 billion switchbacks going down the mountain to Fish Creek. Once I got down to Fish Creek, which is where I'm filling up water right about now, this was one of the most epic fishing journeys of my JMT hike. There were thousands of trout, and I caught so many trout on this path. This is probably the biggest regret that I have. There were campsites along Fish Creek that already had fire rings established. The fishing was amazing, and this is the one place that I should have stayed. Every instinct in me said stay, and I didn't because I was trying to press forward up to Squaw Lake. This is hands down the one regret that I have on this trip. If I could go back, I would camp here for the night.
That is a beautiful fish.
The trail along Fish Creek was just this beautiful transition of waterfalls, and then you'd have a pool with trout, and then it would be another waterfall. Up to this point on the trail, this is hands down one of my favorite camping spots. The scenery, the open skies, the starry nights. The following morning I got to see the sun and the moon as I started my walk up to Silver Pass. Hands down awesome. It's a quiet morning, but inside, it's anything but calm. Today could be the day I quit. Just a few more miles to VVR, and it's all over. Back to normalcy, back to my family, back to comfort. But out here, quitting feels easy, and at the same time, impossible. The trail calls for more. Let's see if I have what it takes. Silver Pass. It feels like standing on top of the world. Each step up here was earned. Up here, it's not just me, but the memories of those I've met along the way, like Andrew and Aiden, a father and son hiking southbound just like me. We crossed paths this morning, both worn from the climb, but sharing that look, understanding that we're all chasing something bigger out here. Then there were two gentlemen from Mexico and Guatemala. We didn't need to say much to know we were celebrating the same thing, the shared moment, this summit. They pulled out a flask of tequila and offered a sip in celebration. Tequila at 11,000 feet, a moment I'll never forget. Every person I've met on the trail leaves a mark, even when they're not pictured. Together we're all heading towards Mount Whitney, each of us on our own journey.
Picture of it.
Oh,
That was California Golden.
wow.
We'll try again. Oh, I almost saw another one.
Oh, Yeah.
Have you ever tried Tenkara?
It's crazy to think of this fish. Six spend their whole life trying to catch it.
I caught one, but as soon as I got it up here, it jumped back in. Man, I saw some fish and I'm like, we got till 4, why not?
Yeah, right.
And it's a shaded spot.
Great, good place to just rest.
Lake Edison, just a ferry ride away from VVR. It should feel like an achievement, but all I can think about is quitting. I miss my kids, I miss my bed, and after all these miles, I still feel empty. Nature was supposed to fix me, right? But all I feel is sore, exhausted, and ready to call it quits. Then there was Joe, Kim, and Professor, northbound hikers. It felt like I'd known them for years, an instant connection, like family. And Joe saw through me. Like he knew what I was going through, he stayed close the rest of the day, and even through the 0 day I took at VVR. We shared every meal. I listened to their stories, their adventures, their life lessons. They made me feel understood. They made me feel proud. I came to Edison Lake thinking I was done, but after meeting Joe and Kim, I realized maybe I'm not done yet. Sometimes the people you meet on the trail are the ones who keep you going.
Marie Lake. Day 8. Snow.
Leaving VVR this morning was harder than I ever imagined. I held back tears most of the way, saying goodbye to Joe and Kim, my trail family, or tramley as we call it out here, was like leaving a piece of myself behind. The talks, the wisdom, the warmth, felt like having a true family for the first time in a long time, and in less than 36 hours, Joe had become a friend that I'll never forget. His words still echo in my mind. It felt different from anything I'd heard before. Joe filled an emptiness I didn't even know I had. His hug as I left was like an anchor grounding me, and suddenly the trail felt different. I felt different. Before I left, Joe told me to put my feet in the river whenever I could. So here I am, toes numb in the icy water, doing it just for him. Sometimes the smallest acts connect us the most. Today was my longest hike, 16 miles through rough terrain. But that full belly from VVR and Joe's encouragement kept me going. I even stopped to fish, though luck wasn't on my side today. And along the way, I met Ed, Jen, and Dave, more hikers with stories to share. Talking about my kids with them, it reminded me why I'm out here. I felt so proud of them, of the people they're becoming. And well, today wasn't without surprises. Almost stepped on a rattlesnake. She rattled twice to warn me, and she let me know that she was there. I tell you what, I jumped back so fast I thought I sprained something. She was beautiful though. We had an understanding. She'd let me pass, I gave her space. As I set up camp at Marie Lake tonight, I thought about everything. The friends I'd met, the moments I'd shared, the memories I'd make. I even made a goofy video for my friend Marie just to make her laugh. I'll need that laughter tomorrow. It's going to be freezing tonight, down to 34 degrees, and the weekend ahead, even colder. But here I am, bundled up, staring at the stars, and feeling grateful. Tomorrow, I'll push for LeConte Ranger Station, further ahead of schedule. Still chasing Chris, still moving forward, but carrying a little piece of everyone I've met with me. Out here, every day brings something new. A challenge, a connection, a memory.
Marie Lake. Day 8. Hey Marie, I officially walked about 100 miles to get to a lake right here, named after you, Marie Lake. It's at 10,565 feet above sea level. You'd have to do the metric conversion, I'm not sure what that is, but Marie Lake, California, John Muir Trail. Hope you're having a great time in Germany. Snow. A great man once told me to stop and take a look at where you come from over that pass, because where you're heading isn't where you've come from, and you'll never be heading that direction. So take a moment just to appreciate the view from the direction you're not going. It's a good way to recalculate yourself. Very wise man. It's a chilly morning, but the next 2 days are going to be even colder. Feeling pretty good though. My legs don't hurt anymore like the first week. VVR definitely set me up for success. Day 9 of alone. I'm moving my camp. I think there's more fish somewhere else to sustain my fat intake and my protein intake. This could be a killer move in 2 different ways. It could be a waste of calories and I could die, press the SOS button and get out of here. Or I could fill up on so much fish that I survive 21 months alone, making the rescue team wait 2 years to start the next episode. I guess we all go a little delusional after a while. Sure would be epic to be on alone though. not having to hike the 211 mile JMT or hiking the 2600 PCT or the 2200 AT, where you're just burning calories, eating as much trash as you can just for caloric intake so you can make it up the next mountain. At least on alone, you could train your body to fast for 30 days and you don't have to do anything. You could lay in your tent, and depending on what episode of Alone you've watched, you could go with unfiltered water and not start a fire until you're 3 months in. I mean, all it is about calorie preservation rather than balancing calorie in and calorie out. Because if you're hiking, but I'll tell you, I'd go on alone. I miss my family like crazy already, but I mean, what's another deployment, right? My kids would understand when I came back and was able to give them whatever they wanted. Like specifically do it just for the kids. $500,000 could go a long way in a family of 5. Give each one of my kids $100,000. If that doesn't set them up for their first house or college or the like of that, then I mean, between my GI Bill and $100,000, my kids could probably do just about anything that they little hearts dreamt of. I mean, it would absolutely suck. Being out here on the trail alone sucks. Every time I meet somebody, it brings a smile on my face, so I know what the human interaction does to the mind. Hot Springs would be nice, but it's just way out of the way. And I'm not resupplying, so it's very free to camp there. It's not like I'm gonna get a hot meal, right? How's it going?
What are you doing?
One step closer to Whitney.
Yeah. Starting to Yosemite?
Yeah. Have a great one. Look at that water. It's just so clean, man. A great man once told me to stop and take a look at where you come from over that pass, because where you're heading isn't where you've come from, and you'll never be heading that direction. So take a moment just to appreciate the view from the direction you're not going. It's a good way to recalculate yourself. Very wise man. More calories, but I'm not shivering. My sunburn is starting to heal. I've seen snow coming from the sky. Ooh. Stood on my shoelace and was about to fall. That was interesting. Making good time so far. Oh, fishy. 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 Beautiful. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. Rocky rock. Nothing. These Paleo Valley beef sticks are amazing. Next place. I stop for water. I'll probably sit down. Probably about 5-6 miles total. We're at 1.7. So, 3 or 4 more miles. I'll sit down, I'll eat my cereal, maybe some snacks, refill any water that I need, and then I got another 5 or 6 miles in me. I mean, yesterday 10 miles was easy. All I did was walk. The hot springs would be pretty cool, but still don't know how I feel about that. I don't have a resupply or anything there, so it's just nothing. And that would shorten my day significantly. I'm telling you, that blue raspberry water boy is like my absolute favorite. Watermelon's good. I mean, they're all good, but like if I had to pick one I had to drink for like the next 24 days straight, it would be the blue raspberry. Same with Peak Refuel. Pina colada is good, and they sent me a shit ton of them. But like, I'd take the melon for 24 days straight if I had to. No, I'm pretty sure. Well, they're going down TR. That's their next refuel. I don't. The hot springs are something I want to experience. They really are. I just don't know. Is it really worth going 3/4 mile off trail and then rejoining and all that shit if I'm not resupplying anything just for a hot spring? That's where it's hard for me to justify. Now, if I was gonna get a cabin or something tonight, maybe. But it was just those NTR, like, or VVR, sorry, days though. Where for the most part, I got to recharge everything. Oh no. I think it puts me too far behind to make it worthwhile. I could do 12 miles-ish today, hit Aspen Meadows, and then do another 12-ish miles and hit LeConte Ranger Station. That would be nice. Put my tent up near the ranger station. That's the last day it's supposed to be cold. But if I want to hit, after LeConte Ranger Station, I think it's Muir Pass, or is Muir Pass tomorrow? Muir Pass might be tomorrow. How you guys doing? One step closer to Whitney.
Welcome to day 10 of the John Muir Trail adventure. Today we tackle one of the most iconic landmarks on the trail, Muir Pass, and its historic stone shelter, the Muir Hut. This leg of the journey covers approximately 20 miles, climbing into Evolution Valley, crossing the temporary suspension bridge, and ascending to nearly 12,000 feet before descending into the rugged granite terrain below the pass. Let's dive in. My day started off at mile marker 109. The morning light painted Evolution Valley in hues of gold, making the climb feel almost effortless. This area is a dream for anglers, and I couldn't resist stopping to fish in Evolution Creek. Let me tell you, the trout were biting. I caught a ton. It's moments like these where the trail gives you a chance to pause and just be. Evolution Valley truly lives up to its name. The terrain here is gentle, the air is crisp, and the sheer beauty energizing. But even as I passed the temporary suspension bridge, which was surprisingly sturdy and enjoyable, I knew the day ahead would test me. My original plan was to stop at Evolution Lake. It was only about 12.3 miles from my starting point. The climb up to the lake was steady but manageable, and the view was more than worthwhile. Sitting at over 10,000 feet, the lake is pristine,
gem surrounded by towering granite peaks. But as I reach it, I felt strong, unstoppable even. So I decided to keep pushing and push further and further. It's hard to explain the pull you feel on the trail sometimes. I wasn't just walking, I felt like I was chasing something. Maybe it was the sense of accomplishment or just the thrill of the unknown, but I knew that I had to keep going.
Now that's beautiful.
The climb to Muir Pass is relentless, gaining over 3,500 feet in elevation across the day. The terrain shifts to stark, barren rock fields. With each step, you feel the altitude and the isolation. But finally, at 11,955 feet, you arrive at the legendary Muir Hut. This stone shelter, built in 1930 by the Sierra Club, is a tribute to John Muir's legacy and a life-saving refuge for hikers caught in harsh weather. Standing inside, you can't help but feel connected to the generations of adventurers who've walked this trail before you. The hut is both humble and monumental, a reminder of the enduring human spirit.
Is that it in the distance? It is. That's the Muir Hut. Yes. Muir Hut.
After soaking in the moment at Muir Hut, I began the long descent. It's funny how your body can feel so strong one moment and then remind you who's in charge the next. The rocky terrain was brutal on my feet, and by the time I reached my campsite only 2.7 miles south of the pass, every step was a challenge. I was exhausted, but I'd not only gained a couple miles, but a whole day on my schedule. It was worth it though. I think about the milestones: catching fish in Evolution Creek, standing in the shadows of Muir Hut, and pushing beyond what I thought I could do. This day tested me, but it is also reminding me why I'm out here. These moments, this pain, is all part of the journey. Day 10 was a day of pushing limits, both physically and mentally. From the serene beauty of Evolution Valley to the stark grandeur of Muir Pass, every step felt significant. If you've ever done a hike like this section or have a favorite memory from the trail, share it in the comments. And if you're planning on your own adventure, let me know what you're most excited about. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next leg of the trail. See you tomorrow as we continue this epic adventure.
Wow! Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty.
I started day 11 just south of Muir Hut, waking up to a surprisingly warm morning. While I'd planned to sleep in, the allure of another day on the trail got me moving by 7 a.m. After a quick breakfast, I packed up camp, ready to see what the day had in store for me. Not far from camp, I came across this incredible waterfall cascading from the top of the mountain. Watching the water make its journey all the way down to where I stood reminded me of how interconnected everything on this trail feels. I filtered some water here for the day ahead, grateful for these pristine alpine sources. A few miles into the hike, I finally found Dinosaur Rock. This quirky landmark has been on my radar since planning the trip. It wasn't where I expected based off the pictures I'd seen, but spotting it felt like a win, a
fun little win for the entire day. I couldn't resist stopping for a snack and snapping some selfies here. Later in the morning, I discovered what might have been the best fishing spot on the entire trail. The creek was loaded with California Golden Trout. I counted over 25 before I even cast. I spent over an hour here, catching some of the biggest fish I had seen so far. Using both of my Tenkara rods, I managed to capture some videos on both of them that were just epic, making this one of the most rewarding moments of the day.
Wow. Look at that beauty. Look at that beauty.
After fishing, the hiking continued through forested trails and rocky terrain. Today's mileage felt tougher than expected despite being just over 10 miles. Maybe it was the longer push from the day before, or maybe it was the heat, but every step reminded me of how far I'd come and how much further I still had to go. I reached camp at Palisade Creek earlier than expected, giving me time to wash and dry some clothes. Sitting by my tent, I took a moment to reflect on how much carrying the trail has meant to me. It's not just a book, it's a symbol of what inspired me to take this journey in the first place. Even though it's heavy and I probably would not carry it again, I loved sharing its story with other hikers along the way. As the sun set over camp, I found myself thinking about tomorrow, the infamous Golden Staircase and Mather's Pass. They're both waiting for me. It's going to be a challenging day, but I'm ready to take it on. Thanks for following along this incredible journey. If you're enjoying these updates, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you as we produce more videos on the 19 days hiking the John Muir Trail.
Just up here after Mather Pass, mountain goating it down these wonderful switchbacks. Not that I have many left to do.
There's something about waking up on the trail that's unlike anything else. This morning, I woke up early, not to the chirping of birds or the rustling of leaves, but to the phantom smell of syrup and pancakes. My hunger must be playing tricks on me, because there are no breakfast feasts waiting. Just me, my tent, and the rationalization that I have another big day ahead of me. My pack felt lighter today, with only 2 or 3 days of food left. The morning was cooler than the day before, enough to chill my hands, but I warmed up quickly as I began moving through the forest. Not far into the hike, I passed an 80-year-old woman section hiking the Pacific Crest Trail with her daughter. She was absolutely adorable, complete with a tiny umbrella and a reminder that age is just a number out on the John Muir Trail. A little further down the trail, I spotted 2 hikers standing still, cameras in hand. I waited back and realized they were photographing deer. I joined in, snapping pictures and some videos, but then something even more incredible happened. A massive velvet antlered buck appeared, grazing just ahead of me. He was magnificent. Either way, he was one of the most beautiful animals I've seen on this trail. One of the 2 hikers caught up to me and asked, "Any chance you're Rob?" Shocked, I said, yes I am. Turns out this was Chris, a hiker I'd been messaging for weeks, the one that helped book our next resupply by mule train. We'd crossed paths briefly the day before at Grouse Meadows, and now here he is hiking with his dad. We spent the next few miles hiking together, catching up and sharing stories. But when we hit the base of the Golden Stairs, I slowly pulled ahead. The Golden Staircase, just hearing the name was intimidating. This section, carved into the mountains in the 1930s, is an engineering marvel, but it's also brutal. Switchback after switchback, the trail climbs relentlessly towards Palisade Lake. I don't even know where the Golden Staircase officially starts or ends. It all felt like one massive uphill grind. But when I finally reached Palisade Lake, it was worth every step. The views were incredible, and the lake itself was teeming with trout. I couldn't resist pulling out my Tenkara. Within minutes, I caught 2 beautiful trout, while Chris and his dad rested nearby. As we continued hiking, I spotted hundreds more trout along the banks. Naturally, I had to stop again, this time landing at least 6 more. Some of them looked like hybrids, possibly a mix of golden and rainbow. It was hands down one of the best fishing days I ever had. After Palisade Lake, the trail climbed again, this time towards Mather Pass. Every switchback felt like an escalator, with steps that reappeared as soon as I thought I'd reached the top. The climb was relentless, but when I finally reached the summit at 12,100 feet, it was surreal. The barren landscape on the other side looked like another planet. I paused to take it all in, snapping some photos and hydrating before starting the descent.
Just up here after Mather Pass, mountain goating it down these wonderful switchbacks. Not that I have many left to do.
Going down the other side of Mather Pass was a breeze compared to the climb up. The trail leveled out and I picked up speed, fueled by the thought of finding a good campsite in the trees near water. When I finally found the perfect spot tucked away with great water source, I felt an overwhelming sense of relief. I set up camp, cooked a warm dinner of peak refuel homestyle chicken, and savored my last peach cobbler dessert before the next resupply.
that fast.
Good morning from the John Muir Trail. It's day 13, and I woke up today feeling like I didn't want to move. Not from pain, just pure laziness. My body was begging for rest, but my stubbornness kicked in. I made a deal with myself. Get to Woods Creek today, and you'll earn a 0 day tomorrow. With that promise in mind, I reluctantly packed up camp and hit the trail. The morning hike was slow and exhausting. Every tiny incline felt like a mountain to me. About 2 miles in, I reached Marjorie Lake, where I noticed brook trout darting through the crystal clear water. It was perfect excuse to take a break and fish. I pulled out my rod and caught a couple small brookies, and then moved on to a larger lake just ahead. This lake was teeming with trout, bigger than anything I've caught so far. Cast after cast, I landed fish, at least 10 in a row, before moving around the shoreline for even more, and then sharing tips with another hiker using a Tenkara rod made the experience even better.
That fast.
After fishing, the real challenge of the day began, the climb to Pinchot Pass. Standing tall at 12,100 feet, the switchbacks seemed endless, and every step was a fight. I was completely spent by the time I reached the top, where I met several other hikers. David and Christy from Pennsylvania were kind enough to let me know that I've already reached the top, a welcome surprise from my exhausted legs. While resting, I chatted with other hikers, including a retired Air Force C-130 pilot and a lightning-fast Aussie who started at Happy Isle just 13 days ago. The camaraderie on the trail never ceases to amaze me. The descent from Pinchot Pass started easy, but quickly turned into a rocky maze with sun-drenched switchbacks. The heat was relentless, and I stopped at nearly every stream to drink and refill my water. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I heard the rushing water of Woods Creek. Following the sound, I came around a bend and I saw it, the famous Woods Creek suspension bridge. Spanning the crystal clear waters, this bridge is every bit as epic as people say. Crossing it felt like a victory. I found a flat campsite nearby, set up my tent, and headed straight to the river to wash off the day's sweat and grime. It was the perfect end to a tough but rewarding day. Day 14 was a 0 day, and it couldn't have come at a better time. I spent the morning fishing in the pools near camp, catching a few brookies and golden trout. While I didn't keep any, the thought of cooking them over a fire was tempting. By mid-afternoon, the Cedar Grove Pack Station crew arrived with our resupply. They brought fresh fruit, grapes, strawberries, apples, and oranges, along with some beer and wine. Sharing these luxuries with Chris, Bill, Terry, and the rest of the group felt like a celebration. We swapped stories, divided up gear, and enjoyed the camaraderie of the trail life. Terry even shared some of his homemade beef jerky and introduced me to Look candy bars, which I'll have to track down when I get off trail. As the day wound down, I couldn't help but reflect on how far I'd come. The miles, the challenges, the friendships, they've all left a mark on me. But more than anything, I found myself missing my family, looking at their photos today reminded me of why I'm here, to be a better, happier person for them. Tomorrow, I head to Ray Lakes, but for now, I'm enjoying the stillness of this place. And thanks for joining me on this incredible journey. If you're enjoying these updates, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow for more John Muir Trail adventures. On the John Muir Trail started early at the legendary Woods Creek Suspension Bridge. With just 39 miles left to go, I set my sights on the stunning Ray Lakes, one of the most iconic spots on the trail and the promise of epic fishing. The trail to Ray Lakes wasn't easy. The climb tested my endurance with steep switchbacks and rocky terrain, but halfway up, I found a hidden fishing spot that changed everything. In just an hour, I caught more brook trout than I could count, some of the best fishing on the entire hike. When I finally reached Ray Lakes, the views were worth every step. The crystal clear waters, the towering peaks, it's no wonder this spot is a favorite for JMT hikers. I set up camp near the ranger station, where a sign warned of very active bears all the way to Forester Pass. Ray Lakes isn't just beautiful, it's a place steeped in history. The Ray Lakes Loop, popular among hikers, traces ancient routes used by Native Americans and early settlers navigating the rugged Sierra. Fishing at Ray Lakes proved tricky. Despite the hype, I only landed a couple of brookies, while my hiking buddy Chris claimed to catch 17 on the far side of the lake. Dinner was a satisfying next mile meal's Cajun jambalaya, cooked while sharing stories with a fellow hiker who turned out to be a local winemaker. From Woods Creek to Ray's Lake, today was a reminder of why we venture into the wilderness, for the beauty, for the challenge, and for the connections we make along the way. Tomorrow I tackle Glen Pass, but for now, I'm soaking in the magic of this incredible trail. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more of my John Muir Trail journey. Day 16 on the John Muir Trail began with the kind of beauty that makes you forget the miles ahead. Ray Lakes shimmered in the early morning light, offering a brief moment of stillness before the grind began. But make no mistake, the climb out of Ray Lakes is not for the faint of heart. Almost immediately, the trail demanded my full attention. Steep inclines, narrow paths, and endless switchbacks leading to the infamous Glen Pass. The trail started beautifully, with crystal clear springs pouring directly out of the mountains. Each step revealed a new wonder, but the higher I climbed, the more relentless the terrain began. Glen Pass is a beast, a gauntlet of tight switchbacks, stone steps, and trails so narrow that one misstep could lead to disaster. Every time I thought I was close, I'd look up and see more mountain waiting for me. It was a mental battle as much as a physical one. But like every other challenge on this trail, I pushed through. Reaching the summit of Glen Pass at 11,998 feet was like standing on top of the world. The view stretched forever, and the sense of accomplishment was overwhelming. Descending Glen Pass felt like stepping into another world. The terrain softened, and the trail wound past Charlotte Lake, a tranquil oasis where I took a much-needed break. As I filtered water and ate breakfast, a familiar face, my winemaker friend from Ray Lakes, caught up with me. But the real surprise of the day came while fishing. Near a quiet stream, I spotted something extraordinary. A doe wearing a blue radio collar, grazing alongside her two spotted fawns. It was a moment of pure Sierra magic. Watching them move gracefully through the wilderness reminded me of how wild and untouched this trail truly is. And yes, the fishing was fantastic. I caught brookies while soaking in this incredible scene. The trail continued, leading me through Tuolumne Meadows and onward to Center Basin, my home for the night. This section of the JMT is steeped in history. For centuries, these trails were used by Native Americans for trade and travel, and later by settlers exploring the rugged Sierra. Today, they connect the hikers like me to the raw beauty of this land. At Center Basin, I set up alongside an incredible group of hikers. Among them were Megan, a northbound PCT hiker, her friend Rob, and my familiar companions Andrew and Aiden. We even helped another hiker with a nasty blister, proving once again that the trail brings out the best in people. Before dinner, I took Aiden down to Bub's Creek, where I introduced him to Tenkara fishing again. He hooked one fish, but it slipped off. This is what we now consider LDR, long distance releases. It's become a fun little joke between us. I've managed to catch 3 golden trout on my Sierra rod. Their shimmering colors perfectly match the golden glow of the setting sun. Dinner was a delicious peak refuel 3-bean chili mac. Shared in the company of the fellow hikers, as the sun dipped behind the Sierra peaks, we swapped stories, laughed, and marveled at how this wild place has brought us together. As the night deepened, the cold crept in, but the warmth of the trail camaraderie kept spirits high. Conversations with hikers like Manners and our PCT Northbounders and Spirit reminded me that this journey is about more than just the miles. It's about the connections we make along the way. With only 39 miles left on trail, I found myself torn. Part of me wanted to slow down, savor every moment, but another part of me was ready to move forward, to summit Mount Whitney, to the comfort of home, and to my family. For now though, I'm here, soaking in the magic of this incredible wilderness. Every day on the John Muir Trail begins its own challenges, rewards, and unforgettable moments. From Ray Lake to Center Basin, Day 16 reminded me why I'm here, to push my limits, to connect with nature, and to find peace in the wild. Tomorrow, Forester Pass awaits, but tonight I'm grateful for this incredible journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to follow further on the John Muir Trail. Day 17 on the John Muir Trail began with the usual buzz of camp life at Center Basin. It was a morning of shared camaraderie as hikers packed up and headed out early. For me, the day started with a quiet ritual.
There's a fish at your
restringing
foot.
my Tenkara rods
Yeah.
and prepping
There
for the
it
trail.
is.
Little did I know, this would be one of
There it
the
is.
most rewarding days on the trail. The hike out of Center Basin starts gently, winding through a serene forest, but soon transitions to the grueling uphill climb of Forester Pass, the highest point on the John Muir Trail at about 13,200 feet. As I ascended the endless switchbacks, I received a Garmin notification from Chris. He and his dad had a black bear encounter this morning, something I had yet to experience on the trail. Forester Pass lived up to its reputation. Steep switchbacks, rocky paths, and thin air made every step a challenge. But reaching the summit was worth it. The view stretched out endlessly, a reminder of how small we are in the vastness of the Sierra. At the top, I refueled with some granola, water, and a beef stick while soaking in this epic scenery. The descent from Forester Pass was a stark contrast to the climb. The trail leveled out, making it an easier walk through breathtaking alpine terrain. I filtered water at the first stream I came across, grateful for the chance to rehydrate before pressing on. Arriving at Tyndall Creek felt like a reward after a long day. The campsite was nestled by the water, offering the perfect backdrop for the evening's activities. And then came one of the most unforgettable moments of the trip, fishing at Tyndall Creek. As I walked along the stream, I spotted a golden trout in a shallow pool, and I'm talking 8 inches across by maybe an inch deep. Without hesitation, and with Andrew watching, I reached in and, to my amazement, pulled the trout out with my bare hands. It was the first and only fish I would ever catch with my bare hands, but the first of today. After dinner, I took Aiden down to Tyndall Creek to teach him some of the basics and advance his Tenkara fishing. Watching him catch his first golden trout and his first brook trout were incredible. A reminder of the simple joys that this trail has to offer. Aiden's dad cheered us on from the bank as we shared in the thrill of each catch. Moments like these make the JMT so much more than just a hike.
As the sun set over Tyndall Creek, we shared stories, laughter, and a sense of accomplishment. Tomorrow, we'll head to Guitar Lake, the final staging point before the summit of Mount Whitney. This journey has been about more than just miles. It's been about growth, connection, and clarity. Conversations with hikers like Joe, Chris, Aiden, and Andrew have helped me rediscover old dreams and set new goals. Now, with just 2 days left, I find myself reflecting on the beauty of this place and the lessons I'll carry home.
There's a fish at your foot. It was just coming up the stream. Did you see it? It was right at his foot. It's right there, see? Oh, that's funny. Nice and slow. Me too. Yeah, there it is. Don't let it get back in the water. Stop chasing the string. Put the fish where you want it. Move the rod.
Hey, that's a pretty good size.
That is a good size. There you go. Look at that golden.
Oh.
And look at that golden go. Bye. Good thing I had video on. Honey hole. None of the fish are learning their lesson, that's for sure.
Okay, Clyde, there's this fly. It looks like this. It looks good, but don't get it.
It's spicy.
Trust me. Go for a wild ride.
Yeah. 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 Get it up here.
There we go.
Yeah. Long distance release. There, oh, that was a good bite.
Thumbs on. Alright.
Yeah, golden.
Alright. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I'll take the rod. You take the fish.
Oh, hello, buddy.
If you've enjoyed following along, don't forget to like, comment,
There
and
you
subscribe.
go.
The summit of Whitney
Release.
is just around the corner. Each day on the JMT brings new challenges, but also moments of pure
Yeah.
magic. From the summit of Forester Pass to the Golden Trout of Tyndall Creek,
There it
Day
is.
17 was wonderful. Thank you for joining me on this adventure. Stay tuned for the final days on the JMT.
Wow.
Day 18 on the John Muir Trail, I woke up around 6, but for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel the rush to move. As I unzipped my tent, I was greeted by a sight so peaceful it felt like something out of a dream. A lone doe, silently grazing, her soft brown eyes watching me as if she knew this was one of my last mornings in the backcountry. She never strayed far, moving with me as I packed. It was a reminder of how deeply connected we've become to this land, even if it was just for a moment. Today's hike was something out of a fantasy. 11 miles of pure, unfiltered Sierra beauty. Rolling plains with crystal clear lakes reflecting the sky, twisted and weathered trees standing as monuments to time itself. Even the dead ones, stripped of their bark, carried a certain elegance. I thought about that a lot. How even in their lifeless state, they still held beauty, still told a story, kind of like the memories of those we've lost. They may not be with us anymore, but their impact, their presence, still lingers in most unexpected ways. With every mile, I felt lighter, not just because of my food supply was dwindling, but because something inside me was shifting. The mountains were stripping away the weight of the outside world. I wasn't just walking towards Whitney. I was walking towards something new, a version of myself I hadn't met before. At Timberline Lake, I had one last chance to cast a line. Golden trout. Feisty and hungry, hit my fly instantly. In just minutes, I caught over 10. Each one a little more reluctant to let go than the last. Fishing has been one of the greatest gifts of this hike. Those moments of stillness, of patience, of connecting to something wilder than myself. And now, here I am, Guitar Lake, the final staging ground before the push to the summit. This is by far the most crowded campsite I've seen in my 18 days on trail. Dozens of tents, hikers moving about, all preparing for the same goal. Some will leave at midnight, others at dawn. We all want the same thing, to stand on top of the lower 48's highest peak and watch the world wake up. Tonight, I sleep under the open sky. No tent, just the stars above me, the cold air biting at my cheeks, and the quiet hum of anticipation. Tomorrow, we climb 3,000 feet in the dark, reaching for the sky and chasing the first light of dawn at 14,505 feet. This trail has tested me in every possible way. I nearly quit back at VVR. I wanted to go home, to my kids, to comfort, to normalcy. And yet, here I am. Because of Joe, because of the people I've met, because I finally understand that I'm not a quitter. I'm a finisher. Next stop, Mount Whitney. This is it. The final morning. The culmination of 19 days, 211 miles, and more climbs than I can count. It's 1:30 in the morning. The world is silent except for the occasional rustling of gear. My body is exhausted, but there's no turning back now. We pack up by the glow of our headlamps, shoulders heavy, feet aching, but hearts pounding with anticipation. The goal is clear. Reach the summit of Mount Whitney before sunrise. By 2 a.m., our group, Andrew, Aiden, Colin, Jeremy, Megan, and myself, step onto the trail. The only thing guiding us is a thin beam of light from our headlights, cutting through the darkness. The air is thin, sharp, and freezing. Every breath feels heavier than the last. Every step is a battle. As we climb higher, the cold becomes unbearable. My hands are stiff, nearly frozen. I regret not bringing gloves. By 3:45, we reach the junction. 1.9 miles to go. Almost there. Almost. Just after 5 a.m., we make it. 14,505 feet. The highest point in the lower 48 states. The final marker of the John Muir Trail. But there's no cheering. There's no grand celebration, not yet. The wind is brutal, relentless. Several of our water bottles froze solid in our packs. My body is shaking uncontrollably. Desperate for warmth, I pull out my Zen Bivy sleeping bag. But my sweat-soaked Puffy has already betrayed me. Now my down sleeping bag is wet. I am freezing, shivering to my core. We huddle inside the stone shelter, packed shoulder to shoulder with other early summiters, all of us battling the same brutal winds. An hour passes in frigid silence. Then finally, at 6:24 a.m., the sun crests the horizon. I force myself outside the hut, snap my summit photo with the iconic Whitney plaque, take a deep breath, and then, without hesitation, I begin my descent. My body needs to move to warm up.
How's it going? It gets windier the higher you get. Oh, trust me, I know. I know. Oh.
This is why we did it. This is why we endured. The world below is bathed in gold. And for a brief moment, the pain, the exhaustion, the sleepless nights, all of it is worth it.
Having fun? You're almost there. The hut's open. You get out of the wind a little bit when you get up there. It is, but it's messy. Very messy. Probably a little less. Oh, it's beautiful up there. You're gonna see for states away. Oh, you are very welcome. A little less than an hour.
The way down is its own battle. 99 switchbacks, each one testing my patience, my endurance, and my sanity. Every rock I step on sends a sharp pain through my ankles. Every twist of loose gravel feels like a personal insult from the mountain itself. But step by step, we press on. Trail camp. Originally, we planned to stay here for the night, but looking around, tents packed in like sardines, a chaotic, restless energy filled the air. I know there's no way we're stopping. We have the momentum, and we're pushing through to the finish line.
Go ahead. There's more room on this side.
I'm the slowest person walking here. Good morning.
Enjoy it up there.
Yeah.
How much more of this is it before we get to
You're gonna go down a little bit on that side, and then you're pretty much just steadily going up for 45 more minutes. Yeah, pretty much. There's a few rocks you have to jump over, but it's pretty much a path. Yeah. It doesn't look like that for much longer. I mean, I was up here at 3 o'clock in the morning, so it's actually a little bit more scary during the daylight.
6 miles to Whitney
Have a
Port.
good one.
The final stretch, the last few miles on the John Muir Trail. These last 6 miles feel like they stretch for eternity. Switchback after switchback, my legs grow heavier. Then I smell it. I stop dead in my tracks. Do you smell that? Barbecue, fries, burgers. I inhale deeply, and my stomach growls in protest. But nobody else smells it. We continue down another set of switchbacks, and then finally, Aiden stops. I smell it too. We look at each other, grinning through the exhaustion. Food is near. The end is near. A final push, a few more brutal turns, and then we see it. Cars, people, the Whitney portal sign, civilization, the finish line. We did it. 211 miles, endless memories, a lifetime of lessons. A double cheeseburger, fries, and ice cold soda. Never has a meal tasted so perfect. As I sit, savoring the moment, a familiar voice calls my name. It's Amy.
Yeah!
A woman who helped me secure my JMT permit, helped me plan my hike, was there with extreme experience to help guide me along my way. She's there. About to start her own northbound trek on the JMT, just as mine ends. It's a full circle.
That is a beautiful rainbow trout.
Yeah, that's huge.
That is a beautiful rainbow trout. On the Sierra. Now that is dirty.
Now that is a very dirty fish. Oh, it's a fighter. It's big too.
Oh, love this.
Right.
Go ahead and release it. Watch out for the rod. Nice. Nice.
As I sit under the stars one last time, I realize something. This trail changed me. I nearly quit back at VVR. I was ready to go home, but I didn't. I found strength in people like Joe, in friends like Andrew and Aiden, in the endless miles and quiet solitude of the Sierra. And now, after 19 days, I can say it. I did it. I hiked the John Muir Trail. I can say I sauntered. And I will never again be the same. Tomorrow we wake up, and Andrew and Aiden's friend Justin, who's played in a few movies like Final Destination 4, is going to come and pick them up and offered to drop me off in Alpine at a nice hotel, the Dow Villa, where I can take a nice hot shower, clean up, get some food and civilization before my plane ride back to